Yeah, I'm making this video just to say my opinions and reflections on pad versus stick and how just my overall experience was coming to a stick. I've been playing on a stick since the beginning of Tekken 6, which was in 2009. When it came to console, that's when I bought a stick. I actually bought this stick like days before Tekken came out. The stick came slightly early, and I had a stick before I even got to pick up the game Tekken 6. And I had like a lot of good times. I would back then I would never have thought that I would even have modified it to changes, but I just had a dream. Like I just said, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to mod my stick one day. And I started off with just the plexi, It's this clear, kind of clear film over my artwork, keep it preserved. I started off with just a plexi, so I had an arcade stick with just a plexi. Then later on, I found out that I could get silent buttons, which are these. They're a lot more quieter than, the regular buttons. Because I used to be there, practicing all happy, not even realizing how much noise that it actually made. It used to drive my girlfriend crazy. So when I told her I can get the silent buttons, she was like, "You better get those immediately." So I got that, and quality of life improved. you know, if you're in a relationship or your girlfriend's always around, I suggest you get the silent sandwich. That's all I'm saying. So that right there stops the whole debate of Sanwa versus Sumitsu. Yeah, I know Sumitsu, you can press them, a little bit harder, and they won't just activate by you breathing on them like the Sanwas. But I mean, you can't beat like the happiness that you'll get in your life when you're playing with quieter buttons around like your girlfriend. Anyway, um, my friend did my artwork for me. He actually designed this whole thing. And I was like, yeah, I wanted something different, something unique, something, you couldn't just buy and get. And later on down the line, I actually got this mod here, the quick JLF, the quick JLF mod, quick release. So basically, I can take on and off my stick, pretty quickly. And it's really like convenient. See, it's not coming off now. It's a little spring trick how I get it to come off. And got a pink ball top eventually to match. And, eventually I even got these little purple buttons right there. But, my overall experience with stick it was rough initially. I can't even lie to you. Because you gotta think that I was always playing on pad all the time, and I just jumped to this. The best way I could describe it to you is like a pad is like driving an automatic car. Everybody could drive an automatic car. Probably the first car you learned to drive was automatic. And a stick is like a stick shift. Not everyone drives one. You don't really see them all the time. But, when you want to be like really competitive and you're racing and stuff like that, you want to be in that stick shift. Not to say that you can't be competitive with a controller, because there's a lot, and I mean a lot of top players, that play, controller. But all I'm saying is if one day you find yourself like playing Knee in some random arcade, are you going to have that handy dandy controller with you? I don't think so. Another thing about stick, and this is something that I really, another really driving selling point is the fact that it's a universal control. Like I used to hate like playing games on PS3 and then playing the exact same game on Xbox and then being bad, because like the controller wasn't as comfortable as like my PS3. So like that stuff used to like drive me crazy. So it's like then you got like people that are like, oh, play me on like PS3, but now with the stick, I'll play on Xbox, PS3, whatever. You know, um, this is a standard square gate that I have inside here. I used to always, feel like, oh man, this circle gate, because I got to experience, you know, a circle gate, and I found it felt like pretty easy to me. And I was like, oh man, circle gate's where it's at. But I told myself, no, 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 because I'm never gonna go to arcade and play on a circle gate. That's kind of like a mod for at-home players. So I just stuck it out with my square gate, and I found that my precision and accuracy became a lot better because in a square gate you can actually feel the direction and feel like where you are because it's square, like down forward, down back, up forward. You can really like get a sense of where you are. So in the long run, your precision and how precise you are is gonna get better. So now I started to be able to do things that I could never do on like a pad. Like for example, I could never do like EFGs or JFSSRs, and it's not like I could do it like even 100% now, but I had a much harder time like trying to do these things that require exact precise inputs on a pad. And overall, I felt that my execution and how technical I was becoming was starting to become better. You know, I still think that certain things can probably even be easier on a pad still. For example, backdashing. I think that backdashing on a pad is like the easiest thing in the world, but I can do it just as easily on a stick. But the effort, I think, is much less on the pad. But everything else, I mean, hey, stick is like the way to go. And the longer I played, just the more accurate I became. And I love playing like fighting games on the stick now. Like I can't imagine going back to like pad. It's it was just like a game changer. As for like hitboxes and things like that, and what I've seen people use, I think that the hitbox will be great if you're like a PC gamer who wants to transition into console games, competitively. So you may not have had that much experience with even pad to begin with. So this would be a good thing to kind of help you, you know, jump into our world. But I mean, with hitboxes, I still think they still have some ways to go. But this stick, I think, is an easy transition from pad to stick because, like, you're already used to these four buttons right here. These four buttons are the same position they are on a on a pad. You know, and then these buttons here, they're basically just your top and bottom shoulder buttons. So if you can understand that this would be up and this would be down, I mean, that's like half the battle right there. I probably just made somebody a pro on stick. And not everyone's like learning curve or experience is the same. For example, I have two friends that I eventually got to play on stick. One friend, he basically hopped on a stick and it was like it came so natural to him. He basically played on a stick like he's been playing on a stick his whole life. His execution was even better than me, and I was playing on it for like a year already at the time. Then I have like another friend who's been playing on it for like 2 years, and his execution is much better on stick than it is on pad, but he still struggles in like some areas. But all in all, I think that my experience in fighting game has improved, you know? It's just one of those things. Like, you can't really knock it until you try it. But the thing about trying it is you can't just try it for like a week. You gotta like try it for like at least a couple months before you really, really start to come together. And I promise you, when you start to like, you're laying down the whoopings on the stick and you start to really get into it, you're not even gonna want to go back. Like that is just like how I feel about it. But overall, it's like you keeping like an old tradition like alive, like the classic arcades. I that's my views, you know, and like I can't wait to even buy like another stick, you know, and I now I'm thinking of buying two sticks because sometimes people they want to play on stick but they left their stick or something like that, and you know I think having a backup stick is just always good. But I encourage everyone out there who's never tried to play on stick that they should definitely try it. And it can be strange and weird at first, but I guarantee you, the longer you try it, the better you'll become. So, you must be like water. Yes. Bruce Lee. Alright, that's it.